You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. James Clear wrote that one line, and it quietly explains why so many people who are trying hard are still stuck. Not because they lack ambition, because they are betting everything on motivation instead of design. Atomic Habits is one of the most important books written in the last decade, not because it introduces a revolutionary idea, but because it tells you something true that almost everything else in self-help gets wrong. You do not need to overhaul your life. You need to change your systems. Here are the 5 most important lessons and why each one matters more than it sounds. Lesson 1. Small habits don't just add up, they compound into a completely different life. Clear opens with a number that sounds almost too clean to take seriously. If you get 1% better every day, by the end of a year, you will be nearly 37 times better than when you started. But the reverse is equally true and far more sobering. 1% worse every day, and your life quietly falls apart. Not in a single dramatic crash, but in a slow drift that is almost invisible until suddenly it isn't. One skipped workout becomes a week. One late night becomes a sleep pattern. One "I'll start tomorrow" becomes a year. Success is the product of daily habits, not once-in-a-lifetime transformations. There is no turning point. There is only the accumulation of small choices made when no one is watching, including you. The most dangerous version of this is not the big slip. It is the tiny one you barely register. The sentence to carry: small choices are shaping who I am becoming. Lesson 2. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Clear makes an observation that stops most goal setters cold. Winners and losers often have identical goals. Every runner at the start line wants to win the race. Every entrepreneur wants to build a great company. The goal is not what separates them. The system is. Goals are good for setting a direction, but systems are best for making progress. This matters because most of us are running our lives on motivation. And motivation is weather. It shows up and disappears without warning. A system is different. A system is deciding you will walk 10 minutes every morning before you check your phone. A system is keeping a book on your pillow, so reading happens automatically. A system removes the daily negotiation with yourself. When you fall in love with the process rather than the product, you don't have to wait to give yourself permission to be happy. You can be satisfied anytime your system is running. The sentence to carry: I don't need more motivation. I need a better system. Lesson 3. Identity is the real engine of lasting change. This is the lesson most people skip over, and it is the most important one in the book. Clear argues that there are 3 layers of behavior change: changing your outcomes, changing your processes, and changing your identity. Most people work from the outside in. They set a goal, outcome, build a plan, process, and hope the identity follows. Clear says it works the other way. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. No single instance will transform your beliefs, but as the votes build up, so does the evidence of your new identity. The shift is subtle but total. Instead of "I want to work out," you say, "I am someone who doesn't skip workouts." Instead of "I want to read more," you say, "I am a reader." The behavior stops being a task and starts being an expression of who you already are. True behavior change is identity change. You might start a habit because of motivation, but the only reason you'll stick with one is that it becomes part of your identity. The sentence to carry: every small action is proof of who I am becoming. Lesson 4. Environment is stronger than willpower every time. Clear points out that when we study the most disciplined people, we find something unexpected. They do not rely on discipline. They design their surroundings so that discipline is rarely required. In the long run, your willpower will never beat your environment. The more disciplined your environment is, the less disciplined you need to be. A bowl of fruit on the counter instead of hidden in the fridge changes what you eat. A phone left in another room changes how you focus. A gym bag packed the night before changes whether you go. None of this is complicated. All of it is powerful. The principle Clear keeps returning to is this: make the right choice, the easy choice. Reduce friction. Stop fighting yourself and start designing for yourself. Be the designer of your world, not merely the consumer of it. The sentence to carry: I shape my environment, and my environment shapes me. Lesson 5. Habits are not about perfection. They are about never missing twice. Clear introduces one of the most practically useful ideas in the book: the rule of never missing twice. You will have off days. You will miss workouts, skip pages, break streaks. That is not failure. That is being human. The real danger is not the single miss. It is what follows it. One missed day becomes two. Two becomes a week. And somewhere in that gap, a quiet story forms. I'm someone who doesn't follow through. Making a choice that is 1% better or 1% worse seems insignificant in the moment, but over the span of a lifetime, these choices determine the difference between who you are and who you could be. Missing once is an accident. Missing twice is the beginning of a new habit. The only rule is to come back, not perfectly, not dramatically, just back. The sentence to carry: I don't have to be perfect. I just have to return. Here is what most people miss about this book. They read it as a productivity manual and walk away with a list of tips. That is the surface. The deeper argument is about identity and architecture, about the fact that your life is not being shaped by your big decisions nearly as much as by the tiny, almost invisible ones you make without thinking. Your outcomes are a lagging measure of your habits. Your net worth is a lagging measure of your financial habits. Your weight is a lagging measure of your eating habits. You get what you repeat. The life you are living right now is the accumulated result of things you decided were too small to matter. Which also means the life you want is built the same way, one almost invisible choice at a time, repeated until it becomes who you are. That is not a comforting idea. It is a clarifying one. The work is already in motion. The question is only which direction it is going.